morning, and welcome to the Digital Learning Day online conference brought to you by Ohio EdTechs. So good that you all are here today. I am Elizabeth Curtis, and I am with WOSU Classroom. And today I will serve as our facilitator. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. Please remember, if you would like to participate in today's chat, make sure that you are signed into your Google account. That is very important. Also, if you don't mind, please take a moment and let us know where you're from. We want to know what school district you are in and how many people are watching right now. So if you could just take a moment, let us know what school district you're in and how many people are watching in your building. Also, if you run into any technical difficulties this morning, if you run over to ohioedtext.org, again, that's ohioedtext.org, there's a phone number and email address that you could use to contact us and let us know, and we'll get help to you as soon as possible. And then also at the end of each session, if you would like a certificate of attendance, you want to stick around until the end and make sure you write down the code that is going to be given at the end of the session. Input this code in all caps into the form provided on the digital learning page at ohioedtext.org, and a certificate of attendance will be emailed to you for that session. And so to get started this morning, I'd like to introduce to you our presenter. Her name is Judy Tucker, and she's going to be talking about the quality content as easy as 1, 2, 3 using INFOhio with G Suite. Let's welcome her.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, things are great here in Bowling Green. I'm from NWOET, Northwest Ohio Educational Technology, one of 8 ed tech agencies here in Ohio that is sponsoring this Digital Learning Day here in Ohio. I have a PowerPoint that I'll be using most of the time, but feel free to ask any kind of questions. If I don't have the answer, I will get back with you at a future point with an answer. Also, we might as well get started, and let's get my PowerPoint started here. Oops. If you haven't figured out, I'm a little new to this, so I have to share my screen. Okay, and okay, that's gonna, as soon as I open my Google presentation. Okay, let's get started, and let me ask some questions. Do you use G Suite in your classroom, in your school? Does your school have one of the G Suite for Education accounts? And do you use Drive? Maybe if you don't use Google Classroom, you use your Drive for your assignments. And we're going to show how you can use some wonderful electronic resources, all free from INFOhio, and integrate them right as easy as 1, 2, 3 into your Google Classroom assignments or homework, whatever it is you need to get those links to the students. The first thing you have to do is to sign into your Google account so you can easily access that G Suite for Education tool, Classroom, or Gmail, Drive, or Docs. If you don't have G Suite in your district, you still can do most of the things I'm talking about today in a private G Suite account. The only thing is you will probably not want to use Classroom because there is a privacy issue for the information that you might put in there with students' names. But you can now, with a private Gmail account, use Google Classroom, but they will ask you to authorize that you are not using it with students. But if you would have out of school class that you're teaching, say in a community, parents or something like that, you can do all these things I'm showing you by using a private Gmail account and create a classroom. Okay, you're logged into your Gmail. Then step 2 is to go to INFOhio, and I always tell teachers that they should use, make sure they only put one O in the middle, and it's a .org. And this is where you're going to find all this content. And I do advise, if you are asked for a password when you're using it outside of a school, that you can use that bottom left-hand corner where it says get password. Even though it says students get password, anyone can use that to get the password. And there's a new feature where it will sense where you're at in Ohio, and you may not need that password. That's a little improvement, but I found there's still some issues when you use the iSearch feature, looking through all the resources that it still asks me for a password, and they're working on getting that corrected. If you go directly into World Book or Science Online or the EBSCO host materials, you won't be able to get in if you're in anywhere in Ohio now without putting a password in. That's working pretty well. So, and the step 3 is to use perhaps this Getting Started guide. Or this is actually step 2. This Getting Started guide is one of the materials that you can find on the EdTech's website that I provided. It's actually also on the INFOhio website. It's a step-by-step, exactly what I'm showing you today, but in case you need to review it or use this handout for students, or put this attached file into your students' Google Classroom or any learning management system. And I do want to point out that if your school doesn't use Google Classroom, you still can have a private Google account of your own and put the resources in, and then pull them into your learning management system. And I'm talking about, say, Schoology, Edmodo, or Moodle. You can usually pull in from your Google Drive, just like you might pull in from a folder on your computer or your school's directory. And step 3 is to use this iSearch, the World Book, Science Online, and EBSCO to integrate it and put it into G Suite Google Classroom. So step 3 is also, I've got some slides showing what the homepage of INFOhio looks like. And you'll see that iSearch is on all the pages, from the opening page that shows right here. The K5 page looks a little different, but it's still the iSearch. And it also, if your school uses Circe Dynex Cat Jr., you are able to, if you log in with your school's username and password, you are able to look at the library as well. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the resources from World Book, EBSCO, and Science Online that integrate with your G Suite Google Classroom. Here's the grade band 6 to 8, same iSearch box, and I'm logged in at the time of this presentation to Findlay City Schools, so that's why you see the Findlay City Schools. I was there on Monday doing a training. And then this is the page that says all INFOhio resources for all grade bands, and it's at the top there also. You can find out more about the iSearch by going into that little blue eye there that has all kind of information for educators to use in using it with their classroom. It's very helpful. There's a Getting Started guide, wonderful resources created by Ohio educators. And now let's get into doing what this presentation is all about. So you do your iSearch, and you find let's say you were doing something looking for information about Mount Etna, and you first result is something you want to explore. So you go in and click on the View and Download. It's a button over to the right-hand side of when all the results show up. So for each individual result, it would say View and Download, and you click it, and up comes this page like this screen shows. And up at the top right-hand corner are 2 icons. Google Classroom is the top one, and the second one is Google Drive. So if you have Google Classroom and you will click on it, then you will go down and even if you don't have your Google Classroom open, it will open a box that says share to classroom, and it will ask you to pick what class it is that you want to share this resource. And what it's going to do is it's going to share a link to this resource, just as you see right here, so the student can click on it. And this particular one you can see comes from Worldbook, and you can read the full text in Worldbook Kids. And I really love the feature of Google Classroom that you can differentiate the instruction. I could go to different versions of Worldbook, for instance. There's kids, there's students, there's academic, and you could pick the reading level that most closely matches your particular students. And you could actually make 3 different assignments, actually the same assignment with different reading levels for the resource. It would be the same topic, Mount Etna, but it would be about be at the reading level of the students. Yes, it takes more time, but once you do it, you actually in Google Classroom can recycle assignments from semester to semester or year to year. This is what it looks like in Worldbook. That one I just showed you is actually how it would look with one of the EBSCO resources that's pulling from Worldbook. If you go directly into the Worldbook page, you will see there are ways to share as well. You have to go to save if you want to save it to your Google Drive, but you start out by going to Tools and Settings at the top right hand. I put a red box around that whole section there. So you would click on Tools and Settings, and then if you were doing it, saving it to your Google Drive, say you use Schoology, and you want to pull this resource in at some future point for an assignment, you can just click on Save to Google Drive. And if you want to use it in an assignment or in a question in your Google Classroom, you go to the Share section of those tools and settings, and you can see there under the word Share, it says Google Classroom. So it is a little bit different. It doesn't have the icons that the EBSCO resources show. So EBSCO does pull from the Encyclopedia Worldbook. And Science Online is a different product from a different company. Awesome for math and science resources, wonderful videos. And if you have any of these resources that you want to share as part of an assignment, again, it's a little bit different, but just remember the word share. And you can see I'm brought up this Geography of the Oceans resource, and I click on share, and then you either can record the URL, email it, embed it, or share to, and that's what you want, that share to. And when you click share to, it will show Google Classroom. If you click the download, which is to the right of the share, you'll see that it says save, and then it will have the little symbol of the Google Drive, and you can save it to there. Again, pull it into your Edmodo homework assignment if you aren't using Google Classroom. So it's a win situation for everybody. Doesn't matter which. We're just featuring the G Suite, which is part of the Google Classroom is part of G Suite. And by the way, in case you're saying G Suite, that sounds weird. If you've ever heard of Google Apps for Education, G Suite is the new name given about 18 months ago, or maybe 2 years ago, to Google Apps for Education. It's now same thing as G Suite. To receive a PD certificate for watching my presentation here, a 30-minute PD certificate, you will go to the tiny URL that's also mentioned on the page that led you to my presentation, and put in the code. Liz mentioned the code. So I'm just